Good morning, good afternoon, good evening. This is a scene for Sept of the Howling Wind. It's a werewolf LARP, whatever. Okay, you know this shit. Hi, how you doing? Scene starting. So, Jesse is fresh from Disneyland today, California Adventures. He was on his honeymoon with his husband and his new husband, and they just got back. So, he's still riding that I've been in Disneyland for the past 2 days, happy high. And just got fucking married. So he's basically listening to music, kind of bouncing around the kitchen, making less dinner and kind of more of a late night dinner snack, as it were.
It won't be too long before he hears a familiar key jingling and the door opens.
He will light up and look up at the door.
Kate walks in and shuts the door, and she gives him a smile. Hey.
He'll come over to her. And I know how she is about touch. But this was one time he'll scoop her up and spin her around.
She hasn't flinched from you in a long time. So it's she ends up like giggling and being picked up and like shrieking a little bit. Oh my god, put me down.
I'll put her down. I have presents for you. You'll squeeze your cheek.
She her smile widens. He will see a small scar going from her collarbone, and it's a new one, going from her collarbone to a little bit past almost the middle of her chest, a little bit. It's just a little scar.
He'll note it, and he'll kind of bring over to the table, and he's basically made kind of like a plate with like pepperonis and crackers and cheese and like little fruits and stuff like that. And he'll sit down at the table, and there's a bag, like one of those Disneyland bags.
I'm sure there's several Disneyland bags around.
There are a ton of Disneyland bags. Apparently now this house is IKEA and Disney. It resembles mine. I didn't mean for that to happen, okay? But that's what my house is, I swear to God. But he'll wiggle and once a second, and he's like, okay, are you ready for your presents? You're not gonna make me wait, are you?
She just shakes her head at him, and she's loading up a small plate with some fruit and some cheese and some stuff. And she just shakes her head. I wouldn't make you wait, Jesse.
I have 3 presents for you. Okay, hands out.
You know you didn't have to do this. It's
yeah, whatever. Hand up.
She rolls her eyes, and
so
when she sticks her hand out, it's literally she's putting her arm out, and her hand, like her palm is down. She just puts her arm out.
He'll flip her hand and put this into it.
She lets out this adorable little squeal. And she says, it's Pascal.
It is!
She looks like super excited. And she sort of cuddles it close.
Okay. He'll let her like cuddle it and kind of absorb it for a second. And then he'll take out like a little box and open it and lay the thing in it on top of the box so that she can see it.
She takes the backpack straps off her back and she sets this backpack down, and it looks like it's a spiderweb backpack.
Okay. So that was the next present. Basically a bracelet.
Yeah, it's beautiful.
And he'll smile. And he'll put that on the table. And he'll say, last one.
Takes a deep breath and smile, cuddling the Pascal plushie.
And he'll pull this out and like hold it up for her.
She smiles so wide and she like reaches across the table to hug him.
He'll hug her back. So tight.
I love you, Papa.
Well, I love you too. Do you like your presents?
I do. So much. Thank you.
He'll smile. I thought of you a lot while I was gone. Seeks. I think Seeks tackled me clean into the floor.
She chuckles again.
He'll sit back with his fingers kind of laced over his tummy.
She she goes to put the things away. So she puts the bracelet in the bathroom on like I'm assuming she has a little area.
She has her own bathroom. We're fancy like that.
Okay, cool. So she places it on top of like a little box in her bathroom, like in a very special place. She puts Pascal on her bed, and she folds up the shirt and puts it in her dresser. And then she returns to him.
Yeah, he'll basically just smile at her. So, clear eyes.
She blushes a little and gives him a really big smile. I can't tell you how much I love my Gauri.
I poured a lot of thought and love into it for you.
She nods. I can tell. And he can tell that there's something about her that seems a little bit haunted.
So, I know I'm the storyteller, but I wasn't there for it, so you're going to have to tell me what happened.
Well, my challenge was to obtain the name of my birth mother. To find her.
How'd you go about doing that?
What?
How'd you go about doing that?
Well, I smoked from this really odd smelling pipe with wisdom of the earth.
Mm-hmm.
And was transported to a moon bridge.
Hold on.
And then I took that path and went to Florida. I didn't go on Scepter or anything. I was able to make my way to. I used the Google website and I found the closest reservation because the Gauru on the other side of the moon bridge told me that the kinfolk mainly stay on the reservations. So I ended up taking what's called an Uber. I had no idea how to work that application, but several very nice humans helped me. And I was able to make my way to a casino. I wasn't sure where to go from there, so I ended up scenting the air, and I found a diner with a kinfolk in it, Uktena. And I told her that I was looking for my kin. And hoped that she could help me. And so we went to a private room where I told her who I was looking for. The picture you gave me, it was the key component to all of this. I wouldn't have been able to do this without it.
I'll smile.
And so I explained the situation, and she told me that her mother would know. And so she sent me to her mother's house, where I met her mother and her younger brother. And her mother was older and seemed ailing. But she told me the story of my mother, and then said that she had no idea what happened to that child. And so I told what I could remember of what happened to that child, to me. And so she told me the name of my mother, Ruby Turner.
Hold on.
And I gave my contact information to that family and thanked them for helping me. And then I took an Uber back to this convenience store where I could step sideways close to the moon bridge. And the moon bridge guardian was there when I got back. There was a random Bane attack. And one Bane went after him, and one went after me. She grins at him.
He gives her a big smile back.
I was only hit once. She blushes.
Is that where you got that scar from?
She nods, and it looks like she's very happy about the scar. Yeah.
He'll just give her a big grin.
Dazzles made this into a permanent scar for me. It's my tattoo to commemorate where I've been. And with any luck, every time I challenge and win, I'll have a new one. She smiled.
He just gives her such a look. Such a look of pride and just, oh my god.
Her smile fades a little. And after I destroyed it, she takes a deep breath and looks like she steels herself to say these words. I got some of my memories back.
Yeah?
Yes. And she looks sad. I now remember everything that happened to me in that lab. Including the loss of a very dear friend. His name was Jake. And she starts to tear up. In that awful place, he was the only comfort I had. And they killed him. He tortured him too far. And then they erased my memory of him He's the one who told me stories when I didn't know anything. He told me of Gaia, of Gauru. At least what he could. We were K-8, J-15, H-6, and I-9. That's why our names were Kate, Jake, Ein, and Hicks.
How odd.
I remembered everything they did. It was like I was experiencing all of that pain all over again, all at once. The Moon Guardian came back and told me that he had also been fighting a Bane. So I let him know that I had also fought a Bane so that he knew that there were two of them. And I sat at the top of that moon bridge looking down at everything in a way I've never seen anything before. Everything was tiny and I could see the ocean for miles.
He'll smile.
So I just sat there for a long time.
I remember the first time I ever sat on a moon bridge.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. It was the same. I felt like everything looks so small. And you think it leaves you feeling uncomfortable. Or like, what's the point? We're so small, we're insignificant. But in that moment, I felt so big. I felt like the world was so big. I felt like everything was inside of me. Just this oneness.
Nods, sniffling.
Not to make this about me. I'll shrug and look back at her.
This is in some small way about you. I wouldn't have had the strength to do it without you. Without your support, guiding me and helping me turn into, well, me.
I'll blush and look down.
I came back never, or fully realizing for the first time how unappreciative I have been. Dazzles took the people she loved most and she sent them to go get me, to rescue me and my kin from that place. And I never thanked her for it. I always felt kidnapped. So I took the time to thank her because of what she did. She saved my life.
I'll smile to her. She'll definitely notice that when she talks about Dazzles, although he's listening and he appreciates what she's saying, there's also a certain distance that he puts.
Yeah. She notices, but just makes the decision not to say anything because she knows that there's a very difficult conversation on the horizon. But this was her way of letting him know she didn't hate Dazzles
Mhm.
without saying the words themselves.
Mhm. He'll look over at the bedroom, and he'll kind of, his brow will furrow and his nose will wrinkle playfully. Your other papa got so Disneyed out he's napping. And he'll smile back at her.
She smiles again. Well, I'm glad he can get some rest.
I paid out for, because it was our honeymoon, for us to have the private tour. So I figured if it was going to be our special day, we didn't need to really ruin anybody else's. I know my presence can unsettle people.
She nods. Yes, I've noticed that about humans and us.
I'll smile at her. It was fun. Got to ride roller coasters, eat more food than I should have, buy so much junk I had to buy another duffel bag, shirts and stuff for the kitchen. He'll kind of pick up a pot holder with like a Mickey filigree pattern on it. Look at this fanciness. Look at it. I feel like I should buy a peacock and let it run around the house.
She chuckles and just shakes her head at him. Oh, there's no leftover ice cream.
Did Nick eat it from Buena Vista?
She shakes her head. No, she blushes. I invited Maddie and Annika to the Cub House and held a pajama sleepover party at the Cup House with ice cream and Disney.
His eyes light up.
Before, well, it was my last night in the Cup House as a Cup, so I wanted to include all of them.
You've been hanging out with Annika a lot. I'm glad to see you two getting along.
She nods. She's turning into a very good friend, and I'm very grateful to her. She and I were hurting in the same place. And being there for each other through that hurt is, well, it's really nice to have someone who completely, totally understands.
The way she looks at you sometimes reminds me of the way that Nick looks at me. I mean, saying that he's a brother, that's natural. Just, they have that same look in their eyes of such love and support.
She nods, although she frowns a little. Occasionally, but mostly I just see her either when she's very happy or slightly sad. And again, I guess that's all she really sees me. I got to touch the ocean for the first time before your wedding.
Oh, yeah?
She nods. I went to eaten because I promised Maddie I would.
Oh my God, my mama in the water. Oh my God. My mama's a water baby. I think if she could be swimming 24/7, she would. She taught me to swim when I was, little bitty thing. Before I could walk, I could swim actually. Being from Florida, that's really common. You got pools all over the place, but we used to go out to I used to drive out to the ocean, to the Atlantic. And she'd always go out about calf deep into the water and just stand there.
She smiles. I can see her doing that.
I hope my mother always realizes how much I love her. She is. If you and Nick are the beat of my heart, and Allie is the breath of my lungs, my mother is the spark that inflamed me. The thing that pushed me into being, into who I am, into what I am.
Much like you are to me.
Oh my God. Well, I didn't know my character was going to cry today, but here we are. He tears up and looks at her. Oh, yeah?
She nods. Yeah.
I just want you to know, Kate, that I consider one of the highest purposes in my life to be instilling in you everything I can to help you become a better person than I am, to leave this world a better place than I will.
She smiles and just shakes her head at him a little. Jesse, everywhere you go, everything you touch is better because of it.
He'll look down. He doesn't have words for that.
You don't have to try. You're already doing it. Just by being you.
I'm not used to being someone that those words could be said to. I feel like I wasted so much time. Just lost.
If you'll excuse the semi-random jump into mysticism, I think you were just waiting for the right moment, for the right step, for something.
My mama did always teach me to never settle.
I'm glad you waited. I'm glad you came here. And I think that you needed to wait until you had learned enough to become who you are. Some people, it just takes longer, and that's okay.
Do you know why I left?
Would you tell me?
He'll sniff and he'll look up. This is actually something he's told nobody else. but he feels compelled to tell her now. I tried to kill myself. I'll look down.
She blinks at him, and her hand reaches out for him.
He'll reach out and take her hand.
I'm not gonna lie. That was an option I considered.
When I say I tried to kill myself, I mean I tried to kill myself.
She nods.
And failed, and realized in failing that I just need to get away. I need to.
It's okay. She gets up and she walks around the table, and while he's still sitting, she sort of just wraps her arms around him.
I had my mom had left to begin her world travel, and I was at home by myself, and the house was empty, and I couldn't take it. I felt like literally I had nothing left in the world. And I drank a lot, so much. I don't even remember how much I drank. And then I went into my parents' bathroom. And my father had been on several medications before he passed. He wasn't unhealthy, but he had a couple of things, high blood pressure, stuff like that. He was on he had some anxiety problems. Not anxiety, just, think. I drank and I took all of them. I just took them all. And I got real sleepy. It wasn't even sleepy. It was just, I felt suddenly very disconnected from myself. Just like everything, just all of the neurons in my mind just carefully snapped and broke one by one. And I just felt like I was sinking back into reality and into. But then my rage swelled, and I I lost myself to the beast.
Is that what saved you?
Mm-hmm. If that hadn't happened to me, I would have died. I spent 3 days out in the wild just because I ran. I ran so far. I ran deep into the woods, deep into the. And I just spent 3 days in my wolf skin. Fucking in my coyote skin. I'll just shake his head and look down. Just 3 days, just thinking as a wolf. There was a part of me that just said, fuck it. I'm not going back. I'm just gonna stay a wolf.
throughout this whole thing, she is quiet and just holding his hand and letting him speak. And her face is very soft.
And I am. I don't know. After 3 days of just wolfing it out, I don't know. My head just settled, and I just kind of. I went back to a friend of mine, good friend of mine, talked to him for a little bit. He said some shit to steer me in the right direction, help me out a little bit, and he just told me, just get in your car, Jesse, and just go. Take your money, take what you got left. You get a paycheck from the res. You ain't gonna be wanting for anything. Just get and go. Go. Let Coyote lead you. And I said, okay. And that's what I did. I grabbed a couple of things, some important things, showed them all in my truck, and just started driving. And I saw beautiful things on my way here. I saw the oak trees lined with moss, Cherokee tears. I saw the bright colors and beautiful jazz on Bourbon Street one night. Go on through and went across God's country in Texas. Fields of blue flowers painting the landscape before me. Sunsets like I had never seen in my entire life. My God, the sunsets in Texas. Round cross through the Grand Canyons. That was something else. I ain't never seen the Grand Canyons before. The painted desert. To here. And I drove right to the ocean, right to the Pacific. And I sat on the hood of my car for a while and took a deep breath and just let it flow through me. Let the new ocean, let the waters, let everything just touch me and claim me and cleanse me. Just let it all fall off of me. Everything that I had left behind, I just let it go. And I came here to this sept. And a smile.
He smiles back at him. For such a seemingly random set of events. I'm so glad you made it here.
Coyote led me here, Kate.
But you chose to follow.
I know. I know that. I do. I'm glad he led me right to you.
It's as much Coyote as it is you.
My mother used to say when I was younger that having children was fuel to your soul. That you could love another person so much that it could just compel you forward in ways that you never believed possible. And when I met you, I understood. You may not be my daughter in blood by birth, but you are my child. I can feel that. I can feel that love for you.
She smiles. I wouldn't have it any other way.
What life took from my uncle, someone who was so dear to me. Your father was one of my best friends. He was, oh my God. I'll take a deep breath and look at her. I wanted to be him when I grew up.
She chuckles a little, not entirely certain why that's funny.
I was his shadow at times. He and I'd always follow him around, and he showed me everything. He showed me how the world worked, what love was. He had a way of explaining what love was in a way that was so elegant, so beautiful. Oh my God, I could never do it justice, although I could repeat the words. Do you want me to tell you what he said love and hate were?
She nods, her ears open.
Your father used to say that love was a collection of emotions, habits, and thoughts that drove us to positive outcome, to making the world a richer place. And he said that hate was the same, but that which drove us to negativity.
She takes in his words for a minute, carefully considering them, and gives him this smile that tells him that she understands.
He used to say that love was the simplest thing to make complicated. And that hate was the most complicated thing to fall too simply. He had a tattoo on his forearm, very similar to the one I have. We got him near at the same time. He'll kind of point at his arm. It was Sanskrit, though, his. And it said, form is emptiness. Emptiness is form. From the Heart Sutra.
She nods. I don't know what a sutra is, but
Collection of wisdom.
okay.
Your father used to recite the Heart Sutra so much I know it. Off the top of my head.
She smiles. I was hoping that you and I could go back to your sept at some point, and that you could help me look for any surviving family members from my mother's side. And her face sort of falls. They don't know, Jesse. They don't know that I'm still out here and still alive. And that's not right. If you can, I would like to do this with you. If you can't, I understand.
It seems as though his brain is thinking something, but he's listening to you.
Right.
Like, you know, when somebody's like not distracted, but just kind of going over something in their head. But
Yeah.
he's not listening to you. I'm sorry, I'm remembering something.
No, it's okay. Whenever you're ready to say whatever it is you're thinking, I'm open to hearing it.
Oh no, I'm remembering the sutra, as your father would say it. He used to recite it, and I'm just remembering his voice saying it.
She smiles and sort of sits on her knees, waiting for him to recite it, because clearly he wants to.
Oh, no, he doesn't, but he's just remembering. We'll smile at her. Do you want me to recite it to you?
She nods expectingly, and then she like holds up a finger, and she grabs the backpack and runs to her room and grabs Pascal, and she takes out the bunny and Pascal, and she cuddles them while sitting on the floor and looking at you like she was eager for a story.
He'll smile. Form does not differ from emptiness. Empty does not differ from form. That which is form is emptiness. That which is emptiness, form. The same is true of feelings, perceptions, impulses. All dharma marked with emptiness. They do not appear or disappear, are not tainted or pure, do not increase or decrease. Therefore, an emptiness, no form, no feelings, no perception, impulses, or consciousness, no eyes, no ears, no nose, no tongue, no body, no mind, no color, no sound, no smell, no taste, nor touch, no object of mind, no realm of eyes, and so forth until no realm of mind consciousness, no ignorance, and also no extinction of it, and so forth until no age and no death, and also no extinction of them, no suffering, no origination, no stopping, no path, no cognition, and also no attainment with nothing to attain. The body depends on thus, and the mind is no hindrance. Far apart from every perverted view, one own dwells in nirvana. In the three worlds, all depend on the body and attain symbiosis. Therefore, the great body is the great transcendent mantra, is the bright mantra, is the utmost mantra, is the supreme mantra, which all is able to reveal, at a game he wouldn't have fucked it up, which is able to relieve all suffering, and is true, not false. So proclaim the mantra, and he'll smile.
She has her head tilted. Very, very wolf-like. Like, I mean, it's just a thing that Kate does. I'm not gonna pretend that all of it made sense to me.
It's not supposed to make...
What?
It's not supposed to make sense.
It felt very nice to hear. It encouraged thought, which I enjoy. Can I ask why he
That's
would do that?
Hmm?
Can I ask why he would say those things?
It was a mantra he had learned. He followed some of the philosophy and principles of Buddhism.
Ah, I see.
He'll grab her cheeks playfully, and he'll kind of tilt her head one way and tilt her head the next. And he said, "Do you know why canines do that?"
She just sort of like frowns and lets him like mold her face, even though it's clear she's like, what are you doing, Jesse? Well, what did he ask?
He said, "Do you know why canids do that?" Like tilt their heads, like back forth.
Oh, do they do that a lot?
Mm-hmm. He'll tilt his head back and forth.
No, I don't.
It's because dogs do not have the kind of hearing that humans have. And he'll kind of like playfully, like kind of tilt her head again to hear up, down. The way dog ears are, although they have deeper clarity in their hearing. He'll lean his hand and he'll snap his finger over by her ear. You can triangulate and pinpoint where this sound is coming from, and he'll kind of move his hand and snap it another place and then another place.
He notices that she reacts to it just sort of instinctually, and she's just listening.
And he'll do that, and she can follow it, and he'll do it in front of her face and then up, down, and she can hear it. And he'll say, if you were in your lupus form right now, unless you tilted your head, you couldn't pinpoint and triangulate where I was snapping, and he'll do up, down. Dogs tilt their head so that they can hear that. I'll smile at her.
Fascinating.
We'll smile.
She makes shit, you're popping more research on this later.
Huh?
He makes a mental note to do more research on this topic later.
I was listening to a podcast. My best advice for you, my daughter, listen to Radiolab.
What is a podcast?
A podcast.
And she frowns, and there's this mental image of like a literal cast, like for your arm, and like a pea pod, and she's trying to like merge the two ideas, but it doesn't click in her brain at all. She frowns like a cast for a pod.
No, he'll motion for her phone.
She hands it to him, and he can see that her background photo is actually one of Lefty. He is holding a guitar and making a silly face.
He'll smile, and he'll flip through her phone, like the stuff that downloads apps, and he'll download he'll download a podcast player, and then he'll download a podcast episode for her. This is the one he downloads for her if you want to listen to it yourself after we're done. It's a really fucking good episode. And he'll say, when you have time, just listen to that. I think you'll enjoy it.
She stands up, putting the bunny back in the bag and Pascal back in the bag, and she sort of like looks over his shoulder. How do you would I just press here and then it would play? Is it like a song?
Mm-hmm. And you have podcasts that you subscribe to, and you basically just listen to them like songs, except
Like
they're
stories?
Hmm?
Like recorded stories?
Kind of. I listen to Veritasium, Lore, Radiolab, Smarter Every Day. Well, yeah. Um, More Perfect. He'll kind of he'll kind of Eyeliner.
She
He'll
smiled back.
he'll help her out and kind of like he'll help her kind of like pick a couple and help her subscribe to them.
So the thing she looks for is stories, and she comes across
Mm-hmm.
the LeVar Burton one,
Mm-hmm.
the brand new one, and she'll add that one.
The Smiler.
Most of the ones she adds are either story or music related.
So that's mostly what I when I'm doing patrol or when I'm just listening to something. I listen to music sometimes or when I'm in the car, but I also listen to podcasts a lot. And they did a podcast the other day on canine hearing and it explained that. But definitely listen to that Radiolab when you have a chance. It's really good. And it talks about Centralia. And I want to go to Centralia.
She just chuckles, shakes her head at Jesse. You never cease to surprise me.
What is that? You're muted, just in case.
Sorry.
It's okay. And why do I never cease to surprise you, my dear?
She holds up the backpack. I don't know if you know that this is Binary's backpack, but Dazzles gave it to me. She gave it to me right before my trial. It has challenge. It has all the things that she left behind in it. And Dazzles was very sure to fill it with everything. It's so full of water and random bits of food and her face just sort of gets very serious. I love her. And sometimes how much she loves me is overwhelming. And I never expected to have anyone love me the way that you and Nick and Dazzles did. And now I have 3 people.
I very much. He'll look down and furrow his brows as though he's trying to address this delicately. I very much consider Dazzles He'll shake his head and just, he goes quiet.
Kate will go ahead and let him go quiet. She's not super stoked about the idea of starting up this conversation until they've all had a chance to talk. But she will look at him and say, I love her no matter what. And I told her that. I told her that despite how I'm feeling right now and the questions that I have, that I will always love her. And there's nothing she can do that will lessen that love. There's things she can do that will hurt me, but it will never make me love her any less. And the same goes for you.
I think I found a way to say what I wanted to say elegantly. I don't just consider Alyssa to be the mother of the children that I will have.
You love her.
Love is not. I do love her, but that's not. He'll shake his head. It's more than love, Kate. It's so much more than love. I respect her. I cherish her. She has supported me in times where I felt so lost and hurt and alone and afraid, where I felt that everything I had been working for was going to be ripped away from me. She came to me when she needed me and trusted me to be there for her when she was weak, when she was hurt. She let me tend to her vulnerability. So although I do love her, I'll shrug. That is one fraction of why I share my life with her.
Kate is very quiet. She nods her head. I understand.
I'm still trying to learn this whole loving more than one. I'm not used to this kind of relationship, what me, Nick, and her have going right now. I don't even necessarily think that it's. I'm having trouble squaring away with the idea that it's right and it's okay and that it's something that can work. As it can, she says it can. I see it and associate it with swingers, deviancy, uncontrolled lust. I'm not used to it being something you build the foundation of a healthy relationship off of.
She frowns, and it's clear that she doesn't quite understand.
But they say that you can make a family out of this kind of life, and I'm trying.
Jesse, you can make a family in any kind of life. I don't understand. What about love could be seen as deviant, especially the way you feel about both of them. I don't see anything. I don't see any any tiny little piece, not one, that is malicious or self-serving in how you feel about either of them. So I truly don't understand how you could, even in a small part, think that your feelings for either of them, both of them, are deep.
I guess it's just because I always saw marriage as between two people. And not just in the laws of man, but in the eyes of those that guard love and love itself. I never considered being in a long-term arrangement with more than one person. This polyamory? And I'm not trying to speak ill of it. I'm literally just learning about this.
She shakes her head and shrugs. I have no idea what that word is or what it means, but I, to my knowledge, didn't grow up with any inkling about romance or love between two people. I only knew it from those women that I called my masters and my mothers. And she she gets this disgusted look when she says mothers.
mm-hmm.
I never had any expectation or want or drive to be part of anything that didn't involve them. I had no idea what romantic love was. I had no idea that there were even different kinds of love. I grew up not knowing or wanting to be in any kind of relationship.
Smile.
So to think that I don't know what exactly you mean by the guardians of love, but to think that there's any wrong way to love somebody? Is there a wrong way to love me?
I think so.
You do?
By not allowing you to grow and get hurt, not allowing you to seek your path, trying to love you so much that I don't let go when I need to. Not letting you live your life.
Jesse, I don't mean any disrespect, but if I wanted to live my life, really wanted, there's nothing you or anyone else could do to stop me. I would just live it.
I'll nod.
There's no wrong way to love. I am not obligated to do exactly what you want just because you love me. You can love me however you choose to love me. And I will accept that however I choose to accept it. That's love. You don't have any control. No one has control over who they fall in love with or how many. And to diminish those feelings with thinking that the numbers matter. You just got done telling me she's so much more than that. So why are numbers getting in the way?
You're right. I'll think a moment. And shake his head gently. I don't know, I think sometimes at the core what really hurts is that can I be honest?
She nods silently.
I wish I could have children with her. I wish that she and I could bring life into this world together. And I just can't. I'll just shrug. I will flex laws and test them to a point. I can get by square one away with loopholes. I can be with her to a point. But the first law of the litany is so crystal clear.
She nods.
Line is you do not create life with fellow Garu. Kate, I don't think you realize, I'm not sure if you know that I know the litany as intimately as some Philodox, as most Philodox. I have schooled Philodox in the litany.
I'm aware you've schooled me.
Those laws.
If schooling means that you've taught me.
He'll smile. Those laws come from places, traditions, reasons, taboos that the Garu placed. They don't just exist. And I know those tales. I know why the laws exist as they do, even the ones that seem counterproductive or stupid, some would say. That the law that thou shalt not suffer thy people to tend thy sickness is backwards or wrong. I disagree with it to a point, but I can also see the reason for it. It has nothing to do with the warrior aspect of our society. The glyphs that form the laws, every curve, every sweep and swipe. And the first law is clear. Garu, no. Offspring, Garu. Those are the glyphs. Four glyphs. They are unnuanced. They are clear. And I've never wanted to have my own children, but bear my own children. This isn't, he'll reach out and he'll touch her shoulder. This isn't about, I'm not talking about you, okay? You're my daughter and I love you and I would never trade anything for you, but I never saw myself having my own children, okay?
She nods.
I just never wanted to be a father to a child that I begot. And I have so many excuses, so many reasons that I didn't want, that I didn't feel that egotistical, that I didn't feel that my line, my legacy, my particular point in history needed to go on. You know what I mean? But then I met her. And it became so clear to me that it's not that I wanted my line to go on. It's that I loved her so much and thought that she was so beautiful and amazing that I wanted her in some way to go on in this world. Even if it meant smashing her beautiful, perfect DNA with my flawed coyote genes. She was in the mood to breed down. I'm feeling charitable. I'll shrug.
He just sort of swallows a little, and at some point her hand went to her neck and she started playing with the necklace that was there.
But I just, I think at the end of the day, part of my confusion and what hurts and why I can seem sometimes like I may not seem totally on board in all of this, or I might seem as though I have reservations or hesitations, it's because it hurts. It hurts that she and I will never be able to share that. We'll get close. I mean, her and Nick. I mean, Nick's the love of my life. One day when I pull my head out of my ass, get myself together, and end up the den father, she'll retire. And we have a little brother or sister on the way. Speaking of that, I think now is a good time to tell you what I wanted to tell you that one time.
He frowns and pays very close attention.
And this may upset you, and if it does, I need you to tell me if I think it's going to be bittersweet. I think it's something that's going to hurt you, but that ultimately you'll be happy about. Or this could be the worst idea in the world, and I'm running the risk of getting slapped. But know that this came from a place of thought and love.
She
Okay.
squeezes the backpack tightly, looking at him, her eyes a little bit wide, nervous, scared.
Dazzles, Nick, and I have discussed strongly and have decided, if you're okay with it, that we would like to name our first child, possibly our only child, but our first child, Alexander or Alexandra.
Kate, quite honestly, seems like she doesn't quite know how to react yet.
He expected that.
She frowns and she thinks it over. She looks back up at him. Why?
The name meant so much to so many people. As an honor to his memory. To in a way show his spirit that he's still here with us. That something that's close to us in our family, a place of love, his memory lies.
I don't know why you'd think I would be upset with you trying to include him in our everyday lives. And she starts to cry, and she drops the backpack, and she wraps her arms around his neck and whispers, "Thank you."
Of course. He'll hold her close. I know how much it meant to you. I need to tell you that both Alyssa and I consider it one of the gravest mistakes in our lives. That we didn't help you find a way.
She shakes her head. I can't right now, Jesse. I can't.
I know. He'll hug her. I know. I'll leave it at that, okay?
She nods, knowing that she would not have been able to take too much more.
Mm-hmm. He'll hold her for a moment, just letting the moment pass for a second, letting her process all that. How about you and I curl up on the couch and listen to this podcast? Would you like that?
She nods wordlessly.
So he'll take her and take Pascal and the blankies and all that and go over to the couch with her, and he'll sit on one end and kind of settle, basically, kind of half laying down.
She settles really close to him. Like, she doesn't want to be like in his lap, but she'll sit next to him and like sort of lean on him. She will take time to shift to Lupus.
Aww.
And she sort of just puts her head like on his leg and listens.
Okay. So he'll lay back and kind of put his hand over his stomach, like his arm draped over his stomach, and like kind of pet her head every once in a while. And he'll just press play and let the podcast play.
She puts her paws over the backpack and the stuffies, like the stuffy in between her paws, like next to her chest, and her head on his leg.
And I think we can end it there.
Sounds like a plan to me.
Thank you, players, for playing. Thank you, watchers, for watching.